here is what's going on in Iowa. So Iowa Senate passes broadband grant bill, sending it to Governor Kim Reynolds. So Iowa lawmakers have passed a bill that would set up a system of grants for broadband providers in an attempt to boost internet access for rural parts of the state. Okay, great. That's a good idea, right? But how are they going to unfold this? Here's the rub. The bill outlines the minimum download and upload speed for companies to qualify for grants, designating most of them for 100 megabits per second. Okay, this is a good thing. There are certain requirements that must be met. That's great. Even though there's going to be private big cable companies that are just going to get money thrown at them, which is bad, at least they have to uphold some standards. That's good. Oh, wait a second. Let's read the next paragraph. Some grants could also go towards projects that provide lower upload speeds of at least 20 megabits per second if they are in areas that don't already have high-speed internet. Oh, and guess what? Janet Peterson, a Democrat in Des Moines, unsuccessfully tried to amend the bill to require providers who receive grants to offer affordable internet options for Iowans, but Republicans voted down the amendment. Let me translate all of this for you. They don't actually have solid requirements for internet service providers because, if it's in rural areas where it's not high-speed internet already, you can just have a shittier product available. In other words, you know why there's a digital divide? The main reason why is because we have an organized duopoly between big cable, where they don't infringe on each other's territory, at least not very directly. And if they look at an area and decide their profit margins aren't high enough, guess what? They don't go there because they're not here to provide a utility service to people, which internet is a utility in our life. They exist to just make as much money as they possibly freaking can. So what this bill is saying, hey, big cable, all these rural areas where you don't want to go to anyway, we're just going to give you money to go there. And then you can just price gouge consumers however you want because the standards with the quality of internet you need to provide is very low. And we're not going to do anything about the pricing in this bill. We're just going to give you the money. In other words, here's money to go. I mean, imagine that. Imagine having a business where you're just like, I don't want to go build that thing because I don't feel like my profits will be high enough. Okay, well, guess what? We're the government. We're going to give you money to go build this thing. And then you can just price gouge all you want. So in other words, you have no costs. You have zero costs now. We're paying for it. But you can still do whatever the fuck you want. You have nothing to answer for. What a deal. Holy shit. And that's what this is. And this is what we need to be careful of, folks. Because this is a bullshit broadband bill. What they're doing in Iowa, this grant bill, is bullshit. Because they're not doing anything about prices. And they're not really doing anything about quality if they're going into areas that don't already have high-speed internet. What areas don't already have high-speed internet? The areas that big cable doesn't want to go to because they're worried they won't be able to make enough money. So basically, this bill is paying big cable to go be predatory towards consumers. Now, here's the other bitter pill here. Will this bill still make life a little bit better for people who have no options whatsoever? Presumably, yes, because at least now they're going to get something. But it's not a solution to the broadband problem. And in many ways, it's going backwards because now it's going to be harder for municipal broadband to sprout up in these types of places. And you just have big cable exploiting somewhere else. And they get to do it for, doesn't even cost them anything. Doesn't even cost them anything. Almost like the game is totally rigged. Almost like the game's totally rigged. So thank you for sharing this, George, and good catch. Because these are the types of broadband bills we need to be aware of. These are the types of things we need to look out for. Does it have because first of all, and you look at Canada's high-speed broadband bill, which, again, their bill is not perfect either. It does invite the private cable companies into the fold, which is a bad thing. But there are certain requirements that need to be met that are solid requirements. There are certain pricing barriers. So it is better when you place consumer protections in there. It prevents exploitation at the level we're seeing now. And this bill doesn't do that, which makes it not a good bill. Not a good bill. It's more of a handout to corporations than anything else. And, if they had high standards and pricing restrictions, it would be better. Still not ideal, because the most ideal would be building high-speed internet for all and making it a city-owned utility. That's the best. That's what we want. That's what we're fighting for. But, if they're going to have some public-private cross-pollination, at least have some solid protections for people so that the private can't exploit them. Well, this bill doesn't even do that. So, good catch, George. Good catch. And, this is the only show that talks about this stuff. No one else well, no, other shows do. I mean, there's a lot of digital rights organizations, and they have shows, and they talk about this stuff. But you'd think more people would talk about this, because without a free and open internet, like, we're really, really screwed. And we could lose it. We could lose it. Remember when everyone said, well, maybe you don't remember it directly. I mean, you might have been too young. I mean, I was too young to experience this firsthand myself. But, everyone used to never imagine a world where radio wasn't this big localized thing. Then all of a sudden in 1996, they all woke up and everyone was like, where's my job? What happened? What happened? Oh, that thing you never thought would happen? It just did. It just did. Because of this bill that passed late night that not a lot of people looked at, called the Telecommunications Act of 1996. Thanks, Bill Clinton. That, ironically enough, originally started as something to address digital divides. That's how that bill started. And then it ended as the bill that basically lifted all consumer protections when it came to how much media one outlet could own. That's where it started. In 1995, it started in a way different place. Here's where it ended. It just guts all media protections. It made our non-existent media system even frickin' worse. And you wonder why people don't have a lot of confidence in electoral politics. You wonder why that is. Gee, I don't know.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your